In the silence of an early winter morning, when the world still slept beneath a blanket of fog, a young man named Ayan stepped out of his small village house with dreams too big to fit inside the worn walls he had grown up in, and fears too sharp to ignore. Life had never given him anything easily. Poverty, loss, and endless responsibilities had carved deep lines into his heart long before his age could justify them. He had lost his father at a young age, and since then, every sunrise brought a new test, a new burden, a new reason to question whether life had anything better planned for him. But Ayan refused to let circumstances decide his worth. He carried within him a stubborn flame, a belief that even the smallest spark could one day light a whole sky. What he didn't know was that the journey he was about to take would break him, remake him, and ultimately show him a truth he had never imagined. One evening, a mysterious old traveler arrived in the village, a man with silver eyes that seemed to hold centuries of stories. He spoke very little, but the moment he saw Ayan, he smiled as if he had been searching for him all along. "Your destiny," the traveler said, "is far from here. You are meant to walk roads where courage is the only companion. Don't let fear trick you into living small." That night, Ayan couldn't sleep. The traveler's words echoed through his thoughts like a whisper carried by the wind. For years, he had worked in the fields, struggling to support his mother and younger sister, pushing away dreams for the sake of survival. But suddenly, something inside him shifted. There comes a moment in every human life when the soul speaks louder than fear, and that night, Ayan listened. At dawn, he packed a small bag, kissed his sleeping mother's forehead, and stepped into the unknown. His journey began through forests where the shadows felt alive, across rivers where the current threatened to swallow him, and over mountains where even breathing felt like a battle. Yet, at every step, he reminded himself, this pain is the price of becoming. Days turned into weeks, and challenges grew more cruel. There were moments when hunger clawed at his stomach, when his feet bled from walking, when loneliness wrapped around him like chains. Many times, he stood on the edge of giving up, staring at the long road ahead, wondering if the traveler's words had been nothing more than a beautiful lie. But then, in quiet moments, he would remember his mother's tired smile, his sister's hopeful eyes, and his father's final words, "Strength is not given, it is earned." And so he kept moving. One night, after weeks of wandering, Ayan stumbled into a ruined temple hidden deep in the mountains. Inside, he found an ancient inscription carved into the stone floor, "Those who conquer their fears become the story that inspires others." Reading those words shook something inside him. He realized he wasn't just walking for himself, he was walking for everyone who had ever been told they weren't enough, for every dream crushed by life's weight, for every soul waiting for a sign that their struggle mattered. Suddenly, his pain felt meaningful. His journey had a purpose larger than his own survival. He camped inside the temple, and in the middle of that silent night, something extraordinary happened. The silver-eyed traveler appeared again, as if emerging from thin air. "Why are you here?" Ayan demanded, tears of exhaustion streaming down his face. The traveler looked at him with gentle eyes. "Because every hero needs a reminder of who they are," he said. "Strength is not about winning battles. It is about continuing to fight even when the world expects you to fall." He placed a hand on Ayan's shoulder. "Your destiny is not a place, it is a transformation. You are not here to find something outside. You are here to discover the power that has always lived within you." And just like that, he vanished. Something inside Ayan ignited, an unshakable belief, a clarity sharper than the mountains he had climbed. From that moment, he walked differently. Challenges still came, storms still rose, nights still felt endless, but Ayan's spirit no longer trembled. He had stepped into a new version of himself. Months later, he finally reached a great city filled with opportunities, dangers, and thousands of stories crossing each other like tangled threads. He worked tirelessly, days in construction, nights learning new skills, weekends volunteering to help others like him. His determination caught the attention of people around him. Slowly, he built not just a life, but a legacy. He became a voice for the unheard, a strength for the broken, a symbol for the lost. His story began to spread across the city, how he had risen from nothing, fought through darkness, and created light not just for himself but for everyone who crossed his path. One evening, as he looked at the city lights from a rooftop, he whispered a promise to the wind, "I will return home when I have built a life worthy of those who believed in me." And years later, he did exactly that. He returned to his village not as the boy who left in silence, but as the man who returned with purpose. He built schools, opened opportunities, and inspired countless young people to chase their own destinies. And somewhere, watching from the shadows, the silver-eyed traveler smiled, because Ayan had finally understood the truth: every destiny begins the moment we dare to take the first step, even when our legs are shaking. If you have ever felt lost, defeated, or broken, Ayan's story is your reminder that you are stronger than your circumstances, greater than your fears, and capable of rewriting your own future. And if this story touched your heart, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because your support helps us bring more powerful, life-changing stories just like this one. Your one click gives strength to our voice, and together, we can.